Okay, what are we doing today? Where are we at? What are we doing?
We're gold painting.
We're gold painting?
Have you found any gold yet?
No.
Have you looked yet?
No.
So you haven't had a pan that didn't have any gold in it?
No.
Now, if you have pan once and there's no gold in it, then you quit and go home, right?
Yeah.
Oh! Well, that's one of the things about gold mining. You've got to be persistent. But you also have to know when to, if you're not finding gold in a spot or enough gold, when to go on and look for a new one. You see, that they're kind of contrasting opposites, but both of them are important. The persistence as well as the ability to go on to a new spot. So let's go try it and see what happens. And will we get cold and wet? Probably, yeah, we're gonna get cold and wet. We're gonna strike it rich, you think?
Totally.
Oh, well, maybe. We'll find out.
We can do anything if we put our mind to it.
Good. All right.
No, we can't.
Good
No,
attitude.
we can.
Let's do it.
Yeah, can. It says
All right, let's go.
Oh, wait, what? Which way are we going?
Go this way. This is somebody else's hole, and you will notice it's mostly sand, and we're looking for color changes. We're looking for a heavy layer of gravel, and it's pretty much, there's a little bit of gravel there and a little bit of silt, and notice they gave up. They also broke a shovel handle, and that's, you know, a good miner has a pile of broken shovels outside his place. I do. I have 4 of them. I looked at the other day, 4 broken shovels there, but this probably doesn't carry much gold. There might be a little bit. Now, one time when your Uncle Josh and I were here, something like 20 years ago, there was a sandbar that was, I don't know, 10 feet deep through this area, and it's disappeared in areas. This is probably a remnant of it here. And then other times it comes and goes. But we need heavier, harder to dig gravel, and that's why they gave up on this here. And they found one river rock, but my guess is they probably won't. We won't sample this. Well, let's go down to the edge of the creek, and in the summertime, right over here, they mined a lot of gold. The water wasn't so high and rolling like it is right now. Well, you know, 2 weeks ago, I was down with Evan, her younger brother, my grandson, and the water was much lower. There was just a gentle little flow through this area, and people were driving over onto the inner bar over there and doing digging. Years ago, when Josh and I were here, maybe 20 years ago, we were dredging down at what we call Kirk's Lagoon, but there was a huge sandbar over this area right in here that was 10 feet deep. Suddenly it's disappeared, and we know from the photographs on Google last summer, there was cars parked out in here, and there was a whole bunch of test holes and people were digging. This is where they take out a lot of flake, and somebody has a 1/4 ounce of gold they took out last summer right over here someplace. But right now, we're a little bit pushed because the better area is probably way out in that current someplace. And it's high and flowing too fast right now. You can see where someone's dug in here. Let's examine these holes before we start digging and panning. Let's examine them. And you know, it's definitely layered. There's layers of sand, there's some silt, and there's some gravel here. And of course, what we're looking for is a real packed gravel. Usually a lot of cobblestones. And it's still, you know, maybe what we call a semi-pack. Probably here, we should dig down as far as we can.
There's a bug.
Yeah, there's a bug. Comes with the country.
What type of bug is it? Can I pick it up?
Yeah, it's some form of a grasshopper, I would say. This zoology is not my greatest accomplishment in life. So the good news is we got layering, so that means there's power current going through here. let's dig down here as far as we can. We'll take a sample. It's still pretty loose. See how easily that came out? That's usually not a good sign. Usually the better gravels are going to be hard to dig. And even where we parked our car is going to be harder packed than this. It's been there for a long time. Remember, oh,
What's up?
kind of pretty. Look at that.
Wait, now, move your
Pretty
shovel.
beautiful.
Move your shovel.
Oh, okay, there's a nice agate, yeah. You know, the kids have eyes for agates. And of course, I like to tell people that I was with two mining buddies, Kurt Lewis and Dan Nordahl. And we were dredging on the Illinois River that time in '81, right in the fall. And Kurt noticed that on our piles of cobblestones on either side of the dredge was a pretty green rock. And he says, I think this is a jade or something like a jade. And so he said, do you guys want it? We said, oh no, we just threw it out of the hole. We weren't really looking. We were after gold. Now you have a good eye. That's pretty stuff, yeah. It's not copper. Some of the copper rocks look like this, but it's the feldspar that turns it green. You should keep those. Those are good rocks. Those are good rocks. But anyway, when we split up the gold into thirds, he said, you take your pick of the biggest nuggets. I'll take this rock home. And we thought we were getting the better end of the deal. And you know, that rock ended up to be a piece of Vesuvirite, and he sold it for $800. This boulder this big. That was the equivalent of 2 ounces of gold back then. So we got 1.5 ounces of gold that weekend. But he did better with that piece of platinum. So let's take a sample down here. You know, okay, who's gonna hold out a pan now? Yeah. We can put those nice rocks in a place for them here.
My hands off the now.
At first, we don't want to overload our pan because we want to get the technique down. Okay, Kenzie, get out your pan too. Okay, and as a general rule, a rule of thumb in gold mining, if it's easy to dig, easy to dredge, it probably doesn't contain as much gold, but it seems like the gold usually is in the harder places. There's a rule of thumb. There's exceptions to all the rules. We know that there's gold dredgers that just put their nozzle in the water and walked away, or just did the sandbars. Didn't get a lot of good gold. People that move through the boulder piles. Okay, good. Now let's go over the river. And we try to, now this is a good spot for me because I can sit down there. So we're going to go ahead and tan these down. And notice that I found a nice place to rest my old back end of the frame here on the soil. And you keep your feet out of the water, that's fine, you know, that's up to you. But one of the first things you want to do is put our pan in and get it all wet, okay? And then we're going to kind of swirl around with our hand. Basically, we're getting rid of the mud. Can you see the mud come off of it? Okay. And you can kind of pick it up and pour out the muddy water. We're washing it, in a sense. In fact, you know, this rock has got a little dirt on it. In some places, if it's really rich stuff, you have to clean the rocks very carefully because there could be gold sticking to them. Probably not here. I think we're still too high up in the aluminum layers there. But so decant it, and okay, I don't hear it rattling around the bottom, so that means you got to put your hands in there and dig it around. And okay, good. Now put your hands in and kind of stir it a little bit, and the larger rocks you can throw off. There's not much mud and clay on them now, so get them wet. And by the way, some of the wash gravels, they just wash up clean really well, but this is somewhat of a clayish soil here. And one of the tricks is you want to hear it rattle on the bottom. Almost there. So we stir it with our hands and throw those larger rocks out. No, you don't have. You can pan those out. Yeah, get it wet. If it were in rich gravel, we clean it more carefully. We're just making a test pan here to see what we have. But so fill it up with water again and let's stir it. So now continue on. So what you got to do here is stir it a little bit because you want to get the rock moving around in there. As I stir it, that's not gold. We can throw out some of these bigger rocks. But then I'm going to pick it up. Can you hear them rattle on the bottom? Can you hear that? Good, good, good. Okay, so again, notice more clay has come up, so we decant it off because we want it clean inside there. That's not gold. Can you hear it rolling around in there? Yeah. Good, okay. But notice it gets dirty again, so this is pretty, a lot of clay in this. Okay, good, all right. So, how you doing over here? Good. Now you want to get the dirt off, so put some clean water in. And stir it around with your hands. All right. Good. And yeah, you're almost ready for the next stage. You know, you don't have to throw off all the bigger rocks. It would take you a long time.
On this one too.
What we're going to do now, by shaking it sideways, the gold is going to go to the very bottom, which is about where my finger is, you know?
Yeah.
And that's about the bottom of the pan. And you're over the riffles. And so by shaking it back and forth, the gold and black sand hopefully will be right about where my finger is. See that? So now we can start dip panning, and the method we're using here. And notice I'm not dumping it in. I'm not going like this, but I'm allowing the water to wash in and wash out. And I can throw off these bigger rocks. But looking from the side, it's kind of an oval motion. You dip it up, and you pull it out, and then after every 3 or 4 times, then you shake it back and forth. And remember, that's going to help settle the gold. Okay, so notice the bottom of the pan is about level with the water, and we're taking off the top layers here, and then we go back and forth to help settle it. That stratifies it. And then we're going to go back to dipping, and you know, we could throw out those are not gold, unfortunately. Sadly. Okay, now we can tap and turn and look for how much black sand we have. So we're going to tap it, keep the water on that little pile of sand, and then as I'm we'll see if there's any gold in there. But the gold will end up at the head of the tail. And notice that I'm tapping against my hand, the water is across it, and the pan is slowly rotating clockwise. And then I'm going to rotate the water counterclockwise, and you can see there's some black sand in there. And there's a color. There's a little color. Not big. Can you see it there?
Yeah.
And see it?
See it?
Good.
It's gold.
Good. There's a little color that was hanging up in the black sand there. Let's find it again. We'll tap and turn, and notice the water is above it, about the same, just a little bit of water above it. I'm going to have you do this next time, Kenzie. And then the pan turned this way, tapping against my hand, but then the water goes counterclockwise. And just gently, let's see if that little color appears again in the sunlight. There it is. See it? Right at the head of the tail there?
Yeah.
It's just a little one. And you know, ones like that, we need thousands of those in order to buy steak dinners on the way home. Okay, now you can start dipping again. So remember, take the pan and put the riffles away from you, and dip in the water like this. Shake it back and forth.
It's just a little flake. I don't care.
And you're taking the layers off. You're not dumping it out. The riffles keep the material from sliding off the bottom. Shake it down, and notice I get it almost level when I shake it off. And, you know, I can tell these aren't nuggets, so I'm going to throw those out. And I'll keep dipping it. Use both hands. Use both hands. Probably better control. Okay. All right. Now those back and forth. That helps settle the gold. We're stratifying it, and it's going to be, the gold's going to be right down at where my fingertip is. And now the material on the top, the light stuff, is that gold? No. So we're going to wash it off. Okay. You can pull out those couple larger pieces there. Good. getting big flakes and nuggets is easier than this really fine gold. But she got two colors at one hand. Okay, that's good. So use both hands. So Kenzie got this yellow piece of quartz in here, and you know, it's about the right color, but notice when the water barely hits it, it moves around. And when we first saw it, my heart was going, oh man, she's found a nice little picker nugget, but alas, it's a piece of quartz. You can see how easily it washes around in there. Now she did get two small colors, minus 40 mesh gold. We picked out with our fingertip, we got it dry, and carefully touched it on our finger, got the bottle underneath and put it in the bottle. And she asked us, what did you ask?
Can I keep it?
Yeah, and of course, well, that's why we came here, because it's a free gold compliment to the state. So, back and forth, and then, and remember, if you look at it from the side, it's kind of an oval motion. You go in, you pull it out, in, you pull it out. There's different ways of panning. This is what I found my easiest way to train people. Well, I use it myself. Okay, back and forth, and then, and what we don't want to do, we don't want to have our let me just demonstrate, we don't want our pan flopping around like this. At this point, it's just better to kind of keep steady control, a steady in and out. You dip water in and it comes out, and every time it does, it washes some of that lighter stuff off the surface, doesn't it? And then from time to time, yeah, pick out the heavy rocks, and then get it and work it side by side with some water in it, and that'll help stratify it. Put the gold at the bottom of the pan.
Like earth.
Oh yeah. A lot of pretty rocks in this river. Good, Kenzie. Get those washed off now. Kenzie's lost gold. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Oh yes. We'll have to write a novel up.
Lost gold at Lawson Bar.
Lost gold at Lawson Bar. Oh yes. All right. It's easier to lose gold sometimes than it is to find it. And every miner has a story, and she can say the first two little flakes that I found, whoops, got lost.
There they went.
All right.
Floated right away.
So this is the finale of these young women first gold panning, and notice they got wet, and I think my feet are cold. Maybe theirs are too. I don't know. But Kenzie, what did you find?
2 flakes of gold, but then I lost it.
Ah, this is a sad story. It happens. It happens to everybody. How about you?
Can't find it.
There was some very tiny specks I thought I could see. I'd have to use my 10 power loop to see them. We did determine that as they dug down deeper, there definitely was more gold. I took a shovelful as far in the river as I wanted to go, maybe 3 feet from shore, and used a water shovel with the sides on it and scooped down, and I got a little color out of there, and definitely more black sand, which is a good sign. And we got more black sand at the bottom of this hole. The upper layers don't seem to have as much. Obviously, returning here in a few weeks when you can just walk across the river here then you could get out where those rapids are in there. And in the summertime, of course, it's all dry. And last summer's the aerial photograph showed numerous little holes, and people parked right in here, digging down, and there were 6-foot diameter holes, it looks like, from the Google Earth. So we got a chance to pan, and we saw the flakes in Kenzie's pan, and that was exciting. And I appreciate her line. She said, "Can I keep it?" You know, yes. Well, unfortunately, the bottle went away. But you know, to be a good gold miner, you got to be persistent. Isn't that what we talked about?